this is Frode and welcome to this video. Today you'll learn about extreme tenacity, staying power, how to overcome adversity, how to face your fears, and the power of a role model. And on this channel I deliver 5 big ideas from books that help us think differently and actualize our potential, so if you're new here, you can consider subscribing. And today we have another inspiring book, Mornings on Horseback, the story of an extraordinary family, a vanished way of life, and the unique child who became Theodore Roosevelt. Shortly, it's a biography of Theodore Roosevelt's first 2 to 3 decades of his life. And although it's not a self-help book per se, it's got a lot of inspiring stories, for example about Theodore's persistence. And the book is written by David McCullough, who has received the Pulitzer Prize twice. He has also received the National Book Award twice, and one is for his book Mornings on Horseback. And aside from many other awards he has gotten, he has also written the books The Wright Brothers and True Man, books that I'll probably share some ideas from in the future. And by the way, a fun fact, did you know that the teddy bear actually originates from a time when Theodore refused to shoot a bear cub on one of his hunts? Well, if you're into stories about some of the greatest people in history, I think you'll love this book. And with that, let's just get started with the first big idea, which is extreme tenacity. Theodore suffered asthma a lot of his young life, and especially in his childhood. He oftentimes had to sit upright while sleeping because he couldn't breathe while laying down because of his asthma attacks. He and his father had to go out of town, and they had to just to get some fresh air and to other hospitals, and who knows how many times Theodore was close to dying because they didn't have the good asthma remedies that we have today. Also, David says that these asthma attacks must have had a profound effect on Theodore's personality, his outlook on life, and his young years. And he says that life must quite literally have been a battle for Theodore, and the test is how he responds, whether he will see himself as a helpless victim or if he will choose to fight back, whether he will become, as Theodore was so fond of saying about a particular desert bird, extremely tenacious of life. And are there some difficulties that you are currently experiencing in your life right now? And will you choose to see yourself as a helpless victim, or will you choose to fight back, like Theodore did, becoming the President of the United States? The next big idea is staying power. And at one time in his life, Theodore chose to write a book about the Naval War of 1812. He wasn't at all interested in this subject, but he forced himself to learn every nuance and technical term of seamanship. He didn't even like long sea voyages, and he met a lot of resistance, and at one time he thought he had taken up more than he could handle. For example, he wrote a letter to his sister Bammy, where he said, "I have plenty of information now, but I can't get it into words. I am afraid it is too big a task for me." But persist he would, and he said that he admired staying power in anyone. Think about that. For some reason that David doesn't write in the book, Theodore chooses to write a book about the Naval War of 1812 when he doesn't even like seamanship, and he forces himself to learn every nuance. That's a great example of staying power. So are there any projects that you have like now, for example in your work, for a business idea, or for your studies, that you're kind of sort of feeling like quitting right now? Could it use some extreme tenacity or staying power? I guess it could. And the next big idea is refreshing adversity. Theodore had just bought some cattle, some buffaloes for his ranch. But then one of his buffaloes escaped, and he and Theodore and his guide set out on a chase after that buffalo. They chased after it for 7 days over the worst terrains in the Badlands. 2 times they had found the buffalo, and 2 times Theodore had shot and missed the buffalo. And his guide was so exhausted at one time because of the pace that Theodore had set on the hunt. So, and he kept constantly praying that things would get so bad that they had to quit. It rained incessantly, but Theodore seemed to get refreshment from every new adversity, and he would often shout, "By Godfrey, this is fun!" And when they finally found the buffalo and shot it, Theodore would break out into a wild facsimile of an Indian dance, and give his guide $100. And his guide later exclaimed that he had never seen anyone so pleased in all of his life. So, and what can we learn from that? Just using my notes. When we are chasing our projects, whether it's a stronger body or a degree in university, we will face a lot of adversity, but we can choose to see it as something good, something that's ultimately making us stronger and more able to tackle later challenges. And this reminds me of an idea from The Upside of Stress, where Kelly McGonigal talks about how stress helps us grow. And she says, "The latest science reveals that stress can make you smarter, stronger, and more successful. It helps you learn and grow. It can even inspire courage and compassion. I no longer want to help you get rid of your stress. I want to make you better at stress." It's actually backed up by science that stress makes you grow, and that if you believe stress is bad for you, it will be bad for you. But if you believe it is good for you, it will be good for you and help you grow. So what are the things currently stressing you out in your life right now? Can you reframe it from something bad into something that's ultimately making you stronger and more able? The next big idea is act as if and take action. Imagine that you are right now facing a huge grizzly bear, which is standing 6 meters away from you. It rears up on its haunches and then drops down on its fours as if it's ready to charge against you. You are terrified, but you keep your barrel steadily on the bear's face and you shoot and then you jump aside in case it charges and you didn't kill him. But there he lies, dead. Finito. This is actually something that happened to Theodore when he was on one of his great hunts. And just how afraid do you think he was when he was standing there facing that huge grizzly bear? I think it's pretty safe to say that he was ready to let go of some extremities, if that's a nice way to say it. But as he continued to act as if he weren't afraid, holding the barrel steadily on the bear's face and killing it, and in later occurrences in his life when he met dangerous horses or dangerous gunfighters in the wars he attended, he gradually ceased to be afraid. But if we instead choose to avoid all of our fears, our world will gradually keep shrinking until it's only as large as our house and our way to the grocery store. And that's not a good way to live. Let's instead face our fears, whether it's talking to strangers, having public speeches, or anything else, and continue to act as if we aren't afraid, gradually expanding what we are able to do, until the fear gradually ceases to be. And the last big idea is steady watch. Theodore went through most of his life desperately trying to live up to his father's name, and when he finally became president at the age of just over 40, he was the youngest president in the history of the nation. He with various feats like building the Panama Canal and building the Panama Canal and reserving huge wildlife reservatories, he completely obliterated his father's name from the history. He became the only Theodore Roosevelt that was remembered. And one of the reasons for his early success might have been that he felt this desire to live up to his father's name, because when he took the presidentship, he exclaimed, "I feel as if my father's hand were on my shoulder, just like if it were helping him." And this idea reminds me of Austin Kleon, who writes about the idea, build your own family tree in the book, Steal Like an Artist. And he says, chew on one thinker, writer, artist, activist, role model you really love. Study everything there is to know about that thinker. Then find 3 people that thinker loved and find out everything about them. Repeat this as many times as you can. Climb up the tree as far as you can go. Once you build your tree, it's time to start your own branch. So when you are trying to master an area, Austin advises us to chew on one thinker instead of trying to devour the history of all the field all at once. No, instead, chew on one thinker, the one you admire the most. And more importantly, hang up a picture of him or her just in front of you, where they can see you do your work, just as if they are pressing you on forward and forcing you to use all of your might to become as good as you possibly can. Just like they are keeping a steady watch over you. Now, I hope you liked today's history lesson of Theodore Roosevelt's life, and that you got some inspiration to seize the day. I will gladly receive any feedback on how I can improve these videos. And if you like this video, you'll probably like The Upside of Stress by Kelly McGonigal. And if you want new videos every week with 5 big ideas from books that help us think differently and actualize our potential, you can click the Find with Subscribe button right below the video. Leave this video a like and share it with your friends. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm looking forward to share more big ideas with you soon. Have an awesome day. See ya.